to the sidelines. Has a man wide open. It's tipped. It's picked off. MJ Devonshire. Got face. He's going to take it to the end zone. Pittsburgh takes the lead.
He loves those moments. It reminds me of last year in the Garden against St. John's. And guys just stepped up. Blake hits a what the hell 3. You know, we're like, what are you doing? And he's done that all year.
Klicka out to Bizzario. It's over. The Pitt Panthers have upset Wisconsin.
Anybody if he hits his field goal. Up and got it. Sauls does it again.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Simplify Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Kaminsky. I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Mason Kling and Kent Vanderwood. I know it's been a while. We've been a little busy. The three of us were actually lawyers for both the Donald Trump case and the Hunter Biden case. On the defense both times, we basically batted 0 over 100 here, over 34 in our first time in the majors. Not looking good on the Hunter case. We've been sent back down to the minors to podcasting. They said, you're not cut out to be lawyers. Go back to being podcasters. Mason, how are you doing tonight?
Still on retainer, though.
That's right. These are billable hours right now.
No, I'm doing good. It does feel like it's been a minute since we hopped on here. But a lot of good stuff in the works. So excited to see you boys again.
Oh yeah, man. We got a big show ahead of us. Kent, before we get started, how you doing?
This thing on? Word. All right.
Yeah.
We're back, fellas. I got the Pitt Vipers on, ready to talk some Pitt sports, some Pitt off-season, some exciting stuff to talk about tonight. So
Someone's fucking
Those are
slamming doors.
The PITT Vipers?
yeah,
right?
PITT Vipers.
They should make those. They should license them and have just blue and yellow on the frame. That would sell crazy.
Heather, that's a crazy NIL opportunity. Let's get on to it.
Some exciting.
But you should give us some of the money from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I need my 5%.
I need about tree
And
food.
some
One last thing before we get
some exciting news
Go ahead.
for the podcast members since the last time we recorded. We officially have season football tickets, so we will see you all at the Backyard Brawl. It took a little bit for all three of us to get those locked down, but we're in. So, not naming names.
Not naming names, me, Kent.
I wonder who that was. The guy who couldn't find the number for the guy who's selling us the season tickets. No.
Alas, we got him. We got him.
We'll be there. We're back in the stands. Depending on how the season goes, we might be there more than one time. We'll figure it out.
Oh,
Speaking of football, though, one programming note before we get into the rest of the show. I've got season previews coming up. I have written a total of, I've written 18 season previews so far. Not all of them are great quality. There are some teams that I don't really care about. I'm not going to waste your time trying to teach you about them. But we're going to start our season preview shows up in July, so we don't do one gigantic 3-hour show again. And if you want to see them in written form, they're coming out on my fucking Substack. I'll probably pin it into some form. Find it in my Twitter bio at I'm Real Angry. And yes, don't be afraid. I accidentally changed my name too many times, and I'm stuck as Woke Football Insider on Twitter. That's me. Now, oh shit, let's go. Let's go with John Carlos Stanton. How big of a dinger was it? I don't have the game on my TV.
A little 3-run bomb. I didn't see it. We're only up 1 now. For those listening, there's an active Orioles-Yankees game going on, and Zach and I are on opposing ends of the fandom there. So, tight division race we got going on.
Hell yeah, brother.
So we may casually interrupt this recording for some updates.
You really caught me off guard with that. I don't know how to transition out of this, so We're going to talk about news that dropped maybe an hour before we hopped on to record, and that is that Bub Carrington has accepted an invite to be in person in the NBA Draft Green Room, which is a week from today, starting on the 26th of June, if Wikipedia is not lying to me. So, at this point, I think it's safe to say that between all the interest that Bub is getting, taking an invite to the green room, I think he's pretty much a lock to be a first round pick. The question is, how high is he going to go in the first round?
Yeah, we were just taking a look at a number of mock drafts. Most recent up to date, obviously since the beginning of when he basically committed to the NBA draft. He's kind of been fluctuating, but he's been moving up. Saw him everywhere from 12th overall to the Oklahoma City Thunder, all the way down to 20th in a couple mock drafts to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and pretty much everywhere in between. So somewhere between that 10 to 20 range is really where the experts are looking. Obviously, not a guarantee there, but that's where most people have him going.
Would love him on the Thunder. If I know that was one of you mentioned that was kind of one of the spots
Yes.
he was mocked out at, and I don't know. With as fun and young as that team is, you feel like he would fit right in there. And if he could be on like a team that's kind of like ready to win now, that would just make me root for. As long as it's in the Western Conference, it would make me root for that team pretty heavy.
Yeah, I think of all the teams in that, I like the 12 to 20 range where he's predicted. I think Oklahoma City would probably be the most fun. Like if he's drafted there, I would assume there's pretty much no pressure on him to be the guy right away because they have so many other guys. He can just come into his own. I know our friend Ian would fucking love it if he went to the Kings. I think he's the only Pitt Panthers Sacramento Kings combo fan in history. From Gettysburg, shout out Ian. But I think Oklahoma City would be the most fun. And honestly, it'd be really cool to see him go as a lottery pick. That would do a lot for the school.
I don't know. I just want him to go somewhere where he's going to get some minutes and get some actual looks at getting a chance to play. So that's where mine
Has Pitt had a lottery pick ever?
Was Steven Adams lottery?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
he definitely had to be, right? I think he was top.
I think so.
Yeah, hang on. I'm going to look it up. He definitely was.
I think he was like 12 or 10, I want to say.
12th overall pick, Oklahoma City, 2013 draft.
That would be
Like,
crazy if...
Even back in the heyday, like the fact that we didn't have like lottery guys, it like makes it feel like we're back a little bit.
If we have two straight first round draft picks that go 12th overall to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, I was going to say, what if they both go 12th overall Oklahoma City Thunder? I will say, though, like, with Pitt not having a lot of draft picks back in, like, the heyday in, like, the late 2000s, I think a big reason for not having a lot of first-round picks was that, or high picks, is that DeJuan Blair just didn't have knees. And if he had, like, knees, he would have been drafted high to the NBA. Now, let me consult. Anything else on Bub? We will be watching the draft closely for him next week. However, we do have some other basketball news that we have not covered on the show yet, and that is Jeff Capel and the Pitt Panthers staff tapping into basketball's greatest resource, Eastern Europeans.
They're all the craze these days.
They're all the craze these days. They saw a couple in the NBA and said, we should do that too. They got a commitment from Bosnian guard. Gonna butcher this, so I apologize. Amsel Dalalic, I think there's a little accent over the second C in his name. He has been playing professionally in the Bosnian League One. No comment on the quality of that league. He is a 45% 3-point shooter. He can drive to the hoop from his tape. He is also going to be a 21-year-old freshman. I believe he's going to be 21, but he's going to be very funny college eligibility there.
21 with 4 years of eligibility confirmed by Pitt Athletics. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring some veteran leadership as a freshman.
Um, yeah, it's crazy. But I think that's a great pickup. I'm very excited. I think we talked in one of our last episodes about sort of the needs that we needed to address in this offseason as a basketball program based on what was leaving. I think Capel and Co. did a pretty good job. This was just the latest piece, but a number of good transfer pickups. I think this was really one of the last pieces that we needed that hadn't really been addressed. Just a consistent outside shooter to try and replace some of the production from Blake Hinson last year. Obviously, not saying this guy is going to be Blake Hinson, but numbers from three are pretty solid. So
I scoured over the tape, hours and hours of film sessions, and determined that his pro comp is Luka Doncic. So that's my
Pip
analysis.
Basketball has Luka.
It's very funny to me because he looks like just body type. Like he's the third Diaz Graham twin. He's their long lost brother from Bosnia. I will say I did watch the same hours of tape, which is the 5 minute clip on YouTube. I really like his the way he shoots a three. It just like it came off consistent. It would fire it out quick, and like Kent was saying, we all of us were basically talking about how the last thing that this team needed to the last piece they needed was another 3 point shooter because you got to somehow soften the blow of losing Blake, and I think that this does it, especially with Pitt announcing that Jorge Diaz Graham is going to be out to start the season with surgery again. So you need another lengthy player to complement Guillermo and Zach to take those minutes if Jorge's not going to be available to start the season. Then other stuff on the basketball front, the ACC SEC Challenge was just recently announced. Pitt will be playing at Mississippi State. Now, some of you might remember that team because it was the most fucking miserable tournament game I've ever watched.
That was forget what the final was, but
It was 60-59.
which I honestly think that doesn't even really depict how awful that game was to watch. But that was as rock fight as a rock fight gets.
Yeah, it would be nice. I feel like we always get like the most boring team in these in these matchups every year. Um, Granted, last year we lost ours to Missouri, but why can't we get like I don't know Alabama or I don't know something a little bit more exciting?
Well,
Didn't they give Alabama to UNC?
yeah, I feel like they're always going to do.
Alabama did. Yeah, it was Alabama and Clemson last year.
Let's see. This year it is South Carolina, Boston College, Cal, Missouri, Kentucky. The fuck was that? Sorry.
Cal Missouri adds up.
So yeah, Cal, Missouri, Kentucky at Clemson, which is that's a bit strange for Kentucky. Florida State, LSU, Georgia Tech, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Louisville. Strange. Arkansas at Miami, Notre Dame, Georgia, Syracuse, Tennessee, Wake Forest, Texas A&M, Auburn at Duke, Texas at NC State, Alabama at North Carolina, Pitt at Mississippi State, Virginia at Florida, and Vanderbilt at Virginia Tech. They clearly have those top three matchups with Auburn, Duke, Texas, NC State, and Alabama, UNC. And then I feel like all the other matchups are a little like I get Kentucky, Clemson because those are both good teams. Syracuse at Tennessee is going to be really weird because we're wearing so much orange. But also, like, there aren't.
Arkansas is Calipari now. I would have been. I don't know. One of those would have at least gotten me a little bit more excited than Mississippi State.
That's what I mean. At least if we want to look at one good thing, is that even if their basketball is incredibly painful to watch, Mississippi State probably won't be as bad as Missouri was last year. So we won't have that glaring loss to the SEC school that was just awful. Like even if we lose, it won't be as bad of a loss as Missouri
You never
was.
know, though.
Hopefully,
I mean, Mississippi State was a tournament
with
team, and then we scheduled them and played them. Missouri was a tournament team. We didn't know. Turned out we lost to them, and they were terrible. Mississippi State could be the same way. You just never know, I guess. Especially now with the portal the way it is, every team's just completely different year to year. So
Mississippi State was also a tournament team last year. Great. So we're playing another sort of middling SEC team that was a tournament team last year. Where have I seen this
we'll
one
see.
before? And they also start with an M. Folks, the doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for Pitt basketball. Nah, fuck them. We'll win. Honestly, the thing about that first Mississippi State game, I remember, is that the closeout of that game sucked. It wasn't even the low score. It was that I don't think Pitt hit a shot for like the final 2 minutes of that game, and that's where I thought we were just going to lose in the most painful way possible. So I hope that Jeff Capel and Cove learned from last time, and maybe they should try and score in the last 2 minutes. I think that's my suggestion on that front.
We'll see. I don't know. I hope we get some more scoring down low this year, man. It's nice as it was to live by a 3, die by a 3. Blake Henson's no longer there. You can't necessarily rely on that. We'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. I'm very excited for basketball this year. It'll be very fun to watch this sort of new group. Some old heads and some new heads. Some true freshmen with some talent, and some transfers with talent, and as you mentioned, Eastern European with some talent. So interesting group. We'll see how they mesh and see how they play. But I'm very intrigued and very excited for basketball again this year. So
yeah, it's nice to be excited for basketball after many years of not being excited for basketball. Okay, I don't have anything else on basketball. Unless Mason, you have something. Okay, I do have some football news before we get to all the hot takes that our fans sent in at the end of the episode. So the first football news is the last transfer of this season, or what I would assume is Anthony Johnson from Youngstown State. He's a 6'3", 300 D lineman. You might remember from earlier episodes, one of the big concerns of this team in the fall is that they need more D linemen, and they finally got a big guy for the D line. I cannot remember the last time we had like a 300-pound guy on the D line. If that's accurate, they probably juiced the stats a little bit, but local Pittsburgh guy. I think that really helps out the team in a big way next year. Obviously, it's the final year of eligibility. And then just after that, just to make everybody feel old, Larry Fitzgerald's kid just got an offer from Pitt.
I love that.
that's cool. That's cool. Would love for him to have similar output as his daddy.
I would love for him to commit to here first, and then we can start talking ourselves into.
True. I don't know how many stars he has or anything like that, but
I want to say he's a 3-star.
Oh, that's got Pitt all over it, baby.
All right, hold on. I gotta
3-star receiver from somebody who previously played at Pitt. Yeah, that's us.
Mean, it's also like, imagine how cool it would just be to be able to say, like, oh, we have Aaron Donald's nephew and Larry Fitzgerald's son on our team.
That's a dream team. That's a relative dream team right there.
I will say, I think that Elliot Donald would graduate before it's Devin Fitzgerald as his son.
I was wondering what the I was thinking he might have another year, but
No, I think Elliott's in his last year, but Devin Fitzgerald is year. No, he's year of 2026.
Elliott better get paid
Class
here. He's got some
2026.
big shoes to fill.
So, hey Devin, if you're listening, come on home, baby. We're waiting for you. There was also we got this commit from um, I don't know how or why, but we got this commit from Harrisburg who is somehow has some connection to LaShawn McCoy.
You go to Bishop McDevitt.
That is a great question.
As our local Central Pennsylvania guy, that could be the connection.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean on you as sort of our.
Pennsylvania liaison.
No, he went to Harrisburg High School.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all if you're good at football in that area, it's all the same. So.
Yeah, I think he's like a running back / D back, so that probably explains the connection for.
Yeah, let's just be glad he didn't. Micah Parsons didn't get him first and swoop him up to Penn State because
They tend to do that.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Last thing. Kent mentioned we'll be at the Brawl, and we know that because they've announced the TV times for the first couple games on Pitt's schedule. Folks, they're back. Noon games are back. Pitt will have at least 2 noon games this fall after having only one last year. The first 2 weeks against Kent State and Cincinnati are both noon games. The Backyard Brawl and then the Week 4 FCS matchup with Youngstown State are both 3:30 games. How do you guys feel about the Brawl not being a night game?
Well, in other brawl news, the Pittsburgh Pirates have also moved up their first pitch time to make it even worse. I figured we were going to mention that at some point, but I think a night brawl would be perfect with a 1 p.m. baseball game. The 3:30 was just inconvenient, whether the Pirates game was at the original time of 7 or 1. Not sure how they're going to make that work or what the thought process was behind moving it up to 1. I think that's worse. Going to be a bigger crowd for the Brawl for sure than the Pirates game. If you're planning on going to that Pirates game, don't.
Wait, no, it's not. They didn't move it up to 1. They moved it back. I believe.
Nah, they moved it up.
Date, right?
Nah.
I was looking at the Friday game. Oh yeah. So you'll basically have people leaving the Pirates game at the same time they're going into Hines for the Pitt game. I'll just say this now: Ubering to the stadium is gonna be a fucking nightmare if you're not getting there early. That is a take the T sort of game. But I am obviously the only 2 brawls that we've been to have been at night. I'm excited for the afternoon games because I love a good afternoon game at Hines where you have the sun sets, it reflects off the giant Pittsburgh glass castle. It gets dark in the 4th quarter. Energy is great.
Yeah.
But
I actually love a 3:30 kickoff. I think 3:30 is a very fun kickoff time. And maybe they did that. Well, it's all about TV. Never mind. I was going to say it was a little messy by the time kickoff came a couple years ago and last year. Everybody was drinking all day before the game even started.
I knew you said that it doesn't matter because of TV, but I genuinely think that might be part of it.
well, I mean that's legitimately the reason that they have Ohio State and Michigan at noon every year. Because if you get those 2 fan bases drinking for another 4 hours, it's gonna get bad.
Yeah. I'm cool with the late afternoon or early afternoon kickoff.
Plus, then when Pitt wins, we can just hit Tequila Cowboy afterwards and have ourselves a great night. So.
It is frankly impossible to get into Tequila Cowboy after a regular Pitt game. After a West Virginia game, it's going to be Don't even bother.
That's right. Let all the Mountaineers go to fucking Tequila Cowboy. Everybody knows it's Jason Aldean's
I was gonna say
bar
we
for
could just go
real.
to Aldean's.
Post game at Aldean's.
Are we calling it now? Post game at Aldean's?
Yep.
All right. All right. You heard it here first, folks. We're going to Aldean's. Okay. I don't have any other football or any other real updates. It's time to get in some hot takes.
Boiling takes.
Boiling takes. All right. So I put out the call a couple weeks ago. Our loyal, beautiful, sexy fans have answered the call. They've given us a bunch of hot takes. I'll be reading them off. I want you both to give me your reactions to them. Start with number one from Talk is Pitt at Talk is Pitt 89. Pitt wins the backyard brawl 13-9. I want you guys to give this on a take Quake scale from 1 to 10.
Like 10 being
Devastating take Quake, millions dead. 1 is you barely felt the take.
okay. I'll put that at like I'm gonna put that like a 6 point, like on the Richter scale. It's like a 6.7 out of 10.
I was gonna go like 5, 6.
Because here's why it. I think Pitt has a pretty good shot to win, but if we're gonna have any faith in Cade Bell, putting up a 13 spot against West Virginia is going to be a tough kind of coming out party. So it kind of like takes away from itself in that sense. But I would love if for meme's sake, I would love this take Quake to be true.
I
Go ahead.
Good. Okay. Yeah, pretty much on the same point as you, Mason. Like, I think that it's maybe a 5 or a 6. And the really hot part of this take is that neither of these teams scored more than 14 points. Like, West Virginia's bringing a ton of people back, and Cade Bell's like, we're throwing it all over the yard. I don't think you're going to have this game go under, 25 points. I think that's the real hot part of the take. That's like, that part of the take is like a 7.5 to me, combined with like the pick and win part. It's like a 4. It's like, yeah, pick and win it.
Yeah.
I will say a win is a win, and the memes would be we would have just a completely refreshed 13-9 like meme slash whatever you want to call it. Like that would be amazing. I would take a 13-9 win, no doubt.
Yeah, to be able to rebirth that meme, be like, because then you can never escape it. Then it's forever. It happened.
I think if you're West Virginia and you're about to lose 13-9, you just take a safety and lose 15-9.
That's when you live rent free in a program's head, though. Like if something like that ever happened, that would almost be worse because then you could just point at it and be like, "Listen, that's rent free right there."
That would be such an admission of like this moment defines your program and it's not even your moment.
Yeah.
All right, so we eagerly await 15-9 this fall. Our second hot take from Footy Franck at Bernerberg. Cade Bell gets poached by an NFL team or is a college head coach within the next 4 years. So by the start of the 2028 season, Cade Bell is either a head coach or in the NFL.
I don't think that's that hot of a take. 4 years is a long time. If he's good, he's probably going to get another opportunity to go coach somewhere higher. Offensive coordinator, not the only way to really go up from there is an offensive coordinator at a better program or a head coach somewhere. Or I guess if you're going to the NFL, some sort of assistant coach. Not an incredibly hot take there. I'm going to give that one a 3-6.
I think that the NFL coach part of the take is a little bit hotter. That's the hotter part of the take here, simply because the whole score, play fast. What is it? Play fast, score faster. Is that his philosophy? As an Eagles fan, that worked great for a year with Chip Kelly, and then we kind of saw that the league caught up to that, and I think that whole philosophy of offense kind of had his place in the league for a second, but not so much anymore. So I think getting poached by an NFL team is probably a little bit less likely. But if he comes in, and I think people out there, this first year is honestly going to be a huge one. If he can take this putrid Pitt offense from last year and even turn it around in the slightest, like I think that's going to get him looks pretty early. And like you said, Kent, 4 years is a long time.
And I agree with you, Mason. Like, not only is the NFL a little bit harder because of his offensive philosophies, it is very much a college offense. Also, there are less jobs. If you're going to be a college head coach, Cade Bell could if his offense works to any sort of extent, not only could he become like a lower tier group of 5 head coach, like say Eastern Carolina, he could also just go back down to the FCS as a head coach instead of being the OC. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll say right now this is a 5-5 only because it's pretty hot when he hasn't even called one game for your team yet. But I don't think it's out of the question that this could happen.
Yeah, that is true. That's an early take, so I'll give a couple extra bonus points there for really being ahead of, this take doesn't hit as well if, the first 3 weeks we go out and play really well. So tip my cap there for the first one to it take.
Yeah, this is a sitting on it. This is he's hedging, and if he's right, he's fucking right. All right. Yeah. Next take from Argos88 from Robert AV 1188. The Dino Cat logo and jerseys just needed to be tweaked and could have been an awesome identity.
Dude, I feel like we've said this on a couple pods before.
I think we have.
We need the royal and yellow Dino Cat. I think we're a bit of Dino Cat stands here on this pod. Don't tweak it at all. Just change the colors.
So here's the thing: would you tweak the text? Because the Dino Cats had like the really angular pit text. Do you think they would change it up with like the cathedral font, possibly? But I think that would clash with the Dino Cat.
I agree. I think if you're gonna go Dino Cat, you got to go full Dino Cat. Here's the thing: they would never do it, but damn, would it make us sickos happy?
Yeah. All right, so 1 to 10. What do you guys feel on this one?
Dude, just because we like the Dino Cat, I think that's like a 2.3. We love the Dino Cat.
Yeah, I'm feeling a 2. You know what? Fine, 2, 3.
And that's not a bad thing.
I'll give him a hotter take than that because, like, bro, I do like the Dino Cat. Those jerseys are pretty ugly. Give it a 5-3.
You know what I think would have been a hotter take? If he had said this about the pro combat jerseys they wore in like 2010. You guys know what I'm talking about?
What?
Pitt in West Virginia wore these for the 2010 brawl. I just dropped a link in the
Was that the one that Drake was wearing the one time?
I want to say so. I think these look horrendous.
Yeah.
Like if he had said we had to tweak these jerseys, that's a 10 out of 10. People are dying from this take, but yeah, you came to the right place. If you want some Dino Cat love, we're here to give it to you. All right, take number 4. First basketball take. The 24-25 men's basketball team will be better than the 08-09 team. For context, the 08-09 team is the one that was one shot away from the program's first Final Four. 1 to 10. How are you feeling on this one?
Now we're talking take Quakes, baby. This is getting hot now. Give me that's like a 9. That's like a 9-4 right there.
I'm gonna need a repeat on that one. I missed that one. You cut out on me.
The 24-25 men's basketball team will be better than the 08-09 team.
Ooh, there's a hot take. We're getting scorching hot.
1 to 10. How you feeling?
Dude, I do like this team. I like the way it's shaping up. I'm going to give that one an 8. 4 though.
You're going to give that a 4?
No, I said 8-4.
Oh, 8-4. Okay. That one came in from a Big Game Panther, by the way. I forgot to mention that. I think that they're going to be good. This one is a little bit of another one where you're just sitting on it early because if you're right, you look like a genius. It's hard to beat Elite Eight though, like 9-9 for me. This one is
That's the thing that's crazy to me is that say this team is top 3 in the ACC. Elite Eight's still tough to make. You see 1s and 2 seeds every year that don't make it. Like, that's a lot to ask from a great team, let alone this Pitt
It's a
team.
good point.
yeah.
I'm raising mine to a 9-4.
Okay. And like even when you consider just the regular season too, this was the peak of the Big East where Pitt finishes number 4 overall in the AP poll, along with number 1 Louisville, number 5 UConn, number 11 Nova. They only had 5 losses that entire year. They were 31-5, went 15-3 in the Big East. Boy, that would be tough to. Now, also that Pitt team went undefeated in non-con play. They fell out of the tournament. Their only 3 losses in regular season play were against Louisville, Villanova, and Providence, and then they lost against Nova in the Elite Eight. I hope this one comes true. That's how I'm going to close out on this one. I am looking forward to this one coming true. You know what? We'll stick with the basketball theme here. We'll go to friend of the show, Matthew Scabaloni from @MattScabs. Jalen Lowe turned himself into a lottery pick.
Hot. This one's like, dude, this one's up there too. This is probably in the 9s. I'm gonna throw like a 9-1 on this guy. Not because I don't love Jalen Lowe, but I just think he's like the exact opposite of Bub Carrington, where I think he can be a really solid player, but he doesn't really like check the size boxes or any of those kind of like intangible things that you can't really teach. Like, he's going to be incredible this year. I'm really excited for him to take a huge step forward, but you just don't see guys like that, especially get taken that early.
Yeah, with Bub, it made sense. Like even like we didn't expect him to be a lottery pick, but he's just got more of the intangibles that you kind of look for in the next level. Um, Jalen Lowe doesn't quite have those same just natural, the height and that kind of stuff that work into his advantage there. So he would have to play like lights out to be at that level.
I will say another thing that worked for Bub is that Bub definitely came out this year because it was a weak draft class.
Yeah.
He knew that 25 was going to be a better class. So I'm gonna put this one high up too. This is probably like a 9-5 for me, just because I know 25 is going to be a better NBA class. However, I will say, combining with the last take, right, saying that this team is better than the 08-09 team, if that take comes true, that would then lead to this take. I would say that if Pitt is better than their best team ever, Jalen Lowe might play himself into being a lottery pick because of that.
So you're saying we should parlay them? If you're going to take one of the bets, you might as well take both.
That's like me and Kent saw this bet slip last night. That was it was going over Twitter, but it was Cole Kmet anytime scorer and Boston Celtics NBA champions. That's that kind of parlay.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay. Trying to see if I have any other basketball ones. Nope. Okay. We'll go back to football. Next one from ZL Schaefer. Ben Sauls is a 2024 first or second team All-American kicker.
That's a hot take.
I'm going to say that's a pretty hot take because I think Alabama has the best kicker in the nation. That might rule out getting your first team. Second team, if he goes back to his Sun Bowl form, his late 2022 form, I could see it happening.
I was gonna say, like last year, not a great year. Obviously, Sun Bowl, he went off. If he can play like that, sure.
Here's the thing that I don't think probably the voters are tapped into on this too is that it's really fucking hard to kick at Heinz Field.
Yeah.
And like even if he has an okay year, like you're gonna have miss when you play that many home games at Heinz, you're gonna miss some field goals, and it's just a tough place to kick. He's gonna play more games there than anybody else, obviously, and there's some good there's a ton of fucking kickers. So to make first team is like a huge accomplishment, and like I think he's got that spark, but that's a hot one. That's like up in the sevens for me.
I'll give that an 8-1.
Yeah, I'm right around like 7-9.
Frankly, dude, I'm looking at this. It's actually not that crazy. Last year, I think we just kind of lump in. He didn't have as good a numbers percentage wise from field goals, but like he was still pretty solid. Just looking at the raw numbers, obviously the offense as a whole was horrible. Didn't get him into field goal range as much to get him as many attempts.
That's something too. It's like if we're betting on Cade Bell,
Yeah, exactly.
he's gonna have hypothetically a lot of, I don't know how much they factor in like field goal percentage versus just like general points scored and how that kind of works, but
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, if the offense works, he's not going to be kicking a ton of field goals. It'll just be extra points. And, like, to be fair, when I think, like, the Bama kicker won it a couple years ago, he wasn't kicking a lot of field goals, a lot of extra points. I think kickoffs kind of factor into it. I do not understand how the votes work. I'm not a voter, but I still think it's pretty hot just because of the number of kickers out there and the amount of programs that just have really good kickers.
we need him to have his Heisman moment. He needs to have like a really big hit on a kick return or something, and that'll like shoot him to the top of the list.
That's a take that we were early on. We were there first. Ben Saul's Heisman.
I like that take though, because yeah, as you said, if Cade Bell, if he gets our offense into shape and Ben Saul's returns to, I mean, yeah, like I said, last year's numbers actually weren't terrible.
It was just a dog shit offense.
Yeah, dog shit
Yeah.
offense. Like, he could do it.
I believe he was all ACC, like second or third team one of the years. So like I could see him doing it, but I think it's also just hot based
First
on
and second
the
team
amount of
All
spots
American
there
is
are.
crazy. Like,
Yeah.
Okay. Next award based hot take. Kenny Johnson will win the Bolitnikoff Award from Icy Light Mango season at H2 Pickettsburg. Straight up, for me, this is a 10. Ohio State has maybe the best receiver prospect since Calvin Johnson as a freshman. And then they also have like three other guys who are just as good.
Yeah, that it's a great receiver class, and like that's a big ask, man. That's a big ask. I almost hate doing these hot takes because it makes me like not want to believe them. But like, damn, I would love if that happened. I would love if we have second Bolitnikoff winner in 5 years. Like,
Yeah, no, that it would be awesome. And like, I think he's a very talented player. I'm not saying that Kenny Johnson is bad. I am saying that with the amount of other receivers out there, and like, I named Ohio State as the one that I just off the top of my head because they're there. But USC has a bunch of guys. Oregon will probably be throwing the ball all over the yard. If they go for just pure stats, it might have someone from like Tennessee. Alabama always has guys. Georgia has like a couple of good receivers. Like the All American thing. This is just an even smaller. Instead of having two spots, you're now narrowing down to one. If this was a Bolitnikoff not finalist, you know how they sort of thin the list down throughout the season?
Yeah.
How far could you see him being on that watch list into the season?
I don't know. You're asking questions I don't have the answer to, Zach.
Yeah, I don't know. Week 6? Sure. Week 6?
Yeah, if that offense gets rocking and rolling, you never know. It all comes down to Cade Bell.
Yeah,
all of
pretty
these
much.
takes, all of these takes, it's the astronaut meme right here where it's like, wait a minute, it's all Cade Bell, and I'm just like, it always has been.
It's Bell and Yarnell. Let's be clear.
Yeah, very true.
So, yeah, but okay, 1 to 10 though. Kenny Johnson winning the Heisman. I'm at a 10 here.
that maxed out the scale.
9-5.
Yep. 9-5.
Actually,
Okay.
I think we're higher than the basketball team being better in 08, 09. I gotta say, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
9-3.
Ken with the very veteran scores. He's like, I can't do a 10 because what if the next take is higher?
Yeah. So
he's been practicing.
Zach Kimbrell just blew the save, so it's tied up.
Dude, let's go. Yeah, Kent's been practicing. He's been doing like TikToks where he's ranking hot takes. He's like, "Oh, that's really going, but I gotta save that one for later." And he always ends up
the blind ranking. The blind ranking.
Yeah, he's doing the blind rankings. Okay, there are 2 takes that are pretty much the same from Put Pit In and Sea Dog 2022. Both saying that this is Pat Narduzzi's last year at Pitt. The first person saying that it is an explicit retirement, and the second person saying it's because he's an old school coach and hates the NIL landscape.
So he's just gonna also retire.
I guess that's a retirement as well. I guess you don't really quit; you just retire.
I've seen crazier things happen.
Yeah, you never know, but I feel like would they give him the keys to kind of hire Cade Bell if he didn't have a plan in place for more than 1 year? Like, it kind of felt like if it was his time to go, he would have done it last year. I guess maybe he's trying to go out on a higher note. Who knows? But it feels like he's like ready to go for a couple more years here based off where the program's at.
Yeah, also based on his age, he's only 58, which in terms of college football coaches is fairly young. It would be a little early for him to retire. And I think, honestly, if he were to leave, he would have to leave for a different job, whether that be a pay raise or the NFL. I could see it happening. You know, I'm not going to say like it's impossible. There could be some reason, whether that's personal or medical, or he could just retire. Like that would. I'm not going to say it's a 1, but I'm not confident it's going to happen. So I'm going to put this at like a 7-2.
Yeah. Talking about combining takes again, you could do this one with the Cade Bell hired as a head coach, and he's just at Pitt.
He's just a head coach.
And Narduzzi retires, Cade Bell gets his head coaching job.
That would be a really funny like cultural whiplash. You go from a Youngstown, Ohio guy to this guy from Florida with a deep like Appalachian Carolina accent.
Yeah. Who throws the ball all over the yard instead of just getting angry at offense like Pat.
One can hope that Pat Narduzzi has made up his grievances with offense and is ready to accept offense back into his life like the light of Christ. Okay, here is a 3-parter. Now this is pretty much this guy's just putting out a parlay for win totals. Pitt football wins 7 games, at least 7 games. Pitt men's basketball makes to the Sweet 16. Pitt women's basketball ends the season with a 500 record. That is from Alvaro Costa at Costa Sports 20.
So we got 3 takes in 1.
This is a combination. This is a take.
Yeah, so all three of these have to happen. That's not happening. That's a 10. That's my first 10.
Yeah, and you know why it's a 10? Because that would make my life way too easy and way too good, and we know that shit is not going to happen.
I'm gonna grade each level of this. I think now I'm an optimist here. I think that Pitt's road to winning 7 games this fall it's there. They have a lot of easy teams on the schedule. That's like if I'm
You say
talking, and I'm
7 or
obviously
9. Why
biased.
did I
That's like
thought you said 9?
You said 7.
That's a little bit more realistic.
I think 7 games. Honestly, I'm gonna give that a 5 because I still don't know what the offense is gonna look like, but I think it's very possible. Basketball makes it to the Sweet 16. That's a little bit harder to do, but I think the team's gonna be really good. However, it's pretty tough to even make the tournament and then get to the Sweet 16 against a bunch of good teams. I'm feeling an 7.8 on this. I don't know how would you rate the Sweet 16?
Yeah, I think in the 7s is that's probably pretty fair.
Because we were 1 game away from it in 2022 with I would say a less talented team.
Agreed.
Less deep team,
Agreed.
yeah.
And less experience, yeah. And then I think the hottest part of this take is the women's basketball ending the season at 500 because Pitt has been, not to sound rude, they have been the worst women's basketball team in the ACC for like 3 or 4 years, and it's the new coach's year 1. I know they have a bunch of transfer players. That is a big ask to go from. How many wins did they have last year? Let's Google this off the top of our head.
7.
Yeah.
You're gonna lock
Yeah,
in
I
7.
was gonna say the first 2 legs could hit. This third leg is just outrageous. Like they've been horrible.
They were 8-24, Mason. You were 1 off. See, a good question is when was the last time they were over 500 or even at it? Does anyone want to guess?
2014.
Do you have the Wikipedia page up? It was
I
2014.
don't. I'm shooting from the hip, baby. I'm shooting from the hip.
They were 20-12 in 2014. They have not won more than 13 games since then. That's a hot take.
It's kind of like also it's one of those things where as parlays work, like I could see 2 of these 3 hitting, but it's going to be real tough to get all of them to. I think the 7 wins, like you said, Zach. I think that's the most reasonable. That's like the minus odds one that he just threw in just to kind of make it 3 legs instead of just 2. But yeah,
You can't escape him. Cedric Mullins RBI.
Okay, so Kent's hot take is that the Orioles are going to win this game instead of the Yankees. That is a 10 out of 10 on the hot take scale. Okay, couple more hot takes, and then we will get on our way. First one is a volleyball hot take from Austin H. at ADH Boom. Dan Fisher and co. break through and win the volleyball national title. I don't think this is
Not a hot take. They've made back-to-back Final Fours. Back-to-back. You're right. You gotta make that final push, man. Cat Flood is back. She's back. That's big for the Mojo. We thought she was gone. We thought she was leaving us, but she came back.
Did you just get that news? That was like 3 months ago.
No, but I'm just saying that's just big for morale.
yeah.
Huge
This is
news.
what if we made the take a little hotter, and not only are we going to get over the hump, but we're going to go back to back.
Oh, so they win 2 straight.
Yeah. Now we're getting spicy.
That's spicy. It's always hard to go back to back. However, yeah, especially as like they're a new blood in the sport, and they'd be going up against teams like Texas, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Penn State. There's one I'm forgetting, but back to back, I'm going to say that's scorching hot. They break through and win the Natty. I don't know, 3. They still have, I believe, at least they can get Rachel Fairbanks back for 2 years. They have 3 years of eligibility left for Olivia Babcock and Tori Stafford, and that is a core of players that could get you to a national title. I think they also just signed the number 1 libero in the nation out of Pine Richland. Local kid.
Hey.
Yeah. Whose head coach is a former Pitt player. So Dan Fisher is sending out his sleeper agents to the world to get all the good recruits to Pittsburgh. So good on you, Dan. All right. Next hot take is an NFL hot take. And Mason, this one involves you. So I'll let you go first. But the funniest thing in the universe happens. The Eagles win the Super Bowl with Kenny Pickett, 7, as QB. And the Steelers go 9-8 and lose in the wild card round of the playoffs.
Dude, it would feel a little bit like Groundhog Day if like Jalen Hurts has like an MVP type year, gets hurt, and Kenny Pickett has to come in and do the Nick Foles thing and put the team on his back. This is really conflicting me because I would love that for Kenny Pickett as a Pitt guy, but at the same time, I can't root for that to happen. I don't think the team is built well enough like it was when Foles came in to have Kenny Pickett come in, and Jalen Hurts does a lot for that team that I don't know Kenny Pickett could. Sorry, Kenny.
All right, I guess here's a question about that. Does Kenny Pickett win the Super Bowl as the 2022 Eagles quarterback?
Yeah, I think he could.
Okay.
I think he could, which would be just an incredible Kenny Pickett beats Tom Brady. That's just injected into my veins.
Tom Brady? Mahomes. That was the oh, did I say I thought
you said you
I meant
the most
the
recent one.
Yeah.
Then my answer is no.
Okay, so he wins it on the 17 the full Super Bowl, but not the Hurts Super Bowl.
Right.
Okay. Ken, how are you feeling about Steelers 9-8 losing the wild card round as an AFC?
I love that because they just signed Tomlin to an extension, so they're destined to go 500, but not better than 500 for the foreseeable future. The other take, I would love to see Kenny Pickett come in for Jalen Hurts at some point this season. I think it's like just bound to happen one way or another. Like even if it's just for like a game, Jalen Hurts is like sick or something.
He doesn't get sick like Lamar, bro. With his diarrhea games. Get out of here.
Well, regardless, Kenny Pickett is going to play some regular season snaps for the Eagles at some point this year. And I'm rooting for him. I hope he does well. Maybe even wins the Super Bowl.
You know what? I think that would be neat. I agree.
That would really be something.
I'm going to average those two takes and say the Kenny Pickett Super Bowl take, 9-9. Steelers go 9-8 and losing the wild card, that's a 1. That's just going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's just reality.
The only difference I can see is that they go 8-9 and they lose in the wild card game and get into the 7th seed. Okay. Our next hot take, and I'm going to say take in quotes, is from our friend Dom. He says, I miss Pitt playing Big East football. I think that, not very hot.
That's a 0.
Fun to play in the Big East.
That's a 0 because he's right.
Football or basketball? Basketball, I miss more. I would miss more than football. But
Wait, I'm with you, Kent. I'm with you.
I agree with that. He did say football in particular, and I'll say I agree because that means you'd have the brawl in November instead of September, which I think is
that is
better.
better for sure.
It's also like, all right, yeah, we play in the ACC, but like we still get like, I know it doesn't happen every year, but we still have Cincy and West Virginia, and Syracuse. Like I feel like there's still enough of it there. You can see the skeleton that was the Big East in our schedule, and that's getting me by.
Yeah, I wish that they had given us like Virginia Tech as an every year opponent instead of Syracuse and Boston College. Like obviously those are good games to have because they're easy wins. But if we had like Syracuse or not Syracuse, Louisville or Virginia Tech, and still had those like Big East roots, I'd like that more. I agree with that.
Remember when
Okay,
Syracuse threw the ball like 4 times against us in Yankee Stadium and beat the shit out of us?
I'm choosing not to remember that game
Okay.
where a converted quarterback to tight end who grew up 3 towns over from me ran for like 800 yards. Okay. We already talked about this one. So from Nate at Nate Schuerman, his hot take is that Pitt will take advantage of one of the easiest schedules in the P4, make it back to a bowl game, win 8 games, and be the first time that Pitt goes undefeated and out of conference for the first time in history. We kind of talked about this with 7-win Pitt. I could see 8. There are definitely some games you could flip. In terms of 4-0 out of conference, that is the hot take crux here for me. Kent State, Cincinnati, Youngstown State, very doable. West Virginia is actually, unfortunately, pretty good. I think.
I think if we do the first part of that, if we go undefeated in non-con, 8 wins is very doable.
I think 8 wins might be disappointing if we start out 4-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so I think it's possible to beat all 4. West Virginia being good and a rivalry game is going to make that a little bit hotter for me. And put this one at like a 8-5. And then the second half of this take is that he thinks the new realignment ACC schedule is great and normal. Very cool for Pitt to play in conference games against Cal and SMU, and out of conference. Oh, this is sarcasm. Sorry, yeah. You got me. You got me. I didn't look at this too hard before I started the show up. Good one, Nate.
Good and normal.
Good and normal. That should have been a dead giveaway. I'm a fucking moron. I was reading ahead a little bit. The last part is it makes sense for WV and Cincy be out of conference games. Makes perfect sense to me. I read ahead and was like, oh, I just got. Yes, you're right. Fucking Pitt, WV, Cincy should all be in the same goddamn conference with Louisville, Virginia Tech, all schools in that fucking Appalachian area. They should, you know what? Dom misses playing in the Big East for football. Bring back the Big East. That's basically our take. All right, last hot take from official Kluges at friend of the show. The Harlem Shake will be the new tune every stadium plays to hype up the crowd. Are you feeling a Harlem Shake comeback in 2024?
no, but I would like it. Maybe it's better than dude. We need to get Pitt football needs to get rid of Mo Bamba on third downs, dude. Like so bad. Give me the Harlem. Give me the Harlem Shake.
No, the thing is, it's like trying to chase something that'll never be caught, right? Like the chokehold that had on what were we in like
Our college experience.
Yeah, like you'll never get back to that point. So I think we should probably go back to the drawing board, have a little brainstorm session here, and think of maybe another song to make ours.
Here's what I'm saying. instead of Mo Bamba and not the Harlem Shake, Pitt plays Gasolina on third downs.
We can do that.
They do like the light flicker things, like the closers coming in.
That's one thing that I think they've been getting better at is they do a little bit of light flicker stuff. Not like Georgia level or Alabama level, but they should do more light flicker stuff. I think they should do that. And actually, if you're using the Harlem Shake, that's kind of a great song for light flicker stuff.
You got me. You got me. Caught me in a trap. Gasolina would be electric though.
All right, Ken, if you had a song, what would be your third down song?
Yeah.
A bar song by Shabuzi.
That does not work. No. You know what they kind of have to bring back? They don't play Thunderstruck a lot at games anymore.
I was thinking something kind of classic like that. Like
I was thinking like AC/DC or like there. Why did I don't know why this came into my head, but like this one Linkin Park song.
Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What?
I think that has to be like our off-season task is to we'll all bring a song and pitch it one pod of what it should be.
Okay. All right. And then you know what? We'll have the fans rate us. We just rated all your hot takes. We'll go to the drawing board. We'll get a couple songs on our hot board. It's time to pick a new third down song for Pitt.
Forget the songs. All of us need to come up with one hot take of our own right now. I think I have one.
All right, if you've got one, start us off.
Pitt basketball will be a 6 seed or higher in the NCAA tournament.
Ooh.
And by higher, I mean like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. What seed was Clemson a 6 this year?
They were either 5 or 6.
If this year's Clemson team could be a 5 or 6 seed, I don't think it's super hot to think this fall's Pitt team will be a 6 or higher.
That's a good one though, Kent.
Really put me on the spot here. I don't think I have anything. Fuck. Let me pull my season preview. I can probably get a couple.
How many touchdowns does Nate Yarnell throw this year?
That was literally the number I was thinking of. I was trying to put a good number on it.
You take that one, Mason. I won't steal it from you. I'll go to the other side of the ball. I think that Donovan McMillan is a first-team All-American, and Nate Matlack finishes with double-digit sacks.
Okay. We're gonna get super hot here.
Okay.
He's gonna throw for over 40. If this play fast, score faster thing is going to be as crazy as we're going hot here, right? I'm not here to give you guys a little baby take. 40 touchdowns.
I gotta hold up. I don't think that's honestly like a crazy ass take. I'm trying to figure out who their fucking quarterback was in 2020. Oh, okay, cool. No, fuck.
If he throws, if he has like a couple good games against some of these weaker non-cons, if there's plenty of weak defenses on our ACC schedule, like even if our defense takes a step back, that only makes it better for him to just kind of run up.
Okay, I'm going to say 40 is a little hot. Now, granted, at WCU, I think they played one or two less games, but their starting quarterback threw for 28 touchdowns as a team, they threw for 33.
Okay.
Now, that's at the FCS level. That's with one game. I think they played Arkansas where they were outmatched in skill talent. 40, I think, is hot. I think 30. Okay, so if the like everything in this show, if the offense works, 30 is no question. 35, I can see it. 40 is where I'm like, he might be going to New York if he's getting 40. Because that's basically what got Kenny to New York. Kenny threw for 41, 42, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you never know. And it's one of those, too, where he's got to stay healthy the whole season as well. Because as soon as you miss one game, you're not throwing for 40 anymore. So,
yeah.
But hey, I think that's why it's a hot take.
Hell yeah, brother. That's going to do it for us tonight. If you like the show, follow us on Twitter at SimplifiedPod. We'll be coming back at you starting in July with it's season preview season. I've got them all written out. We're not going to do one big, giant 3-hour show like last year because that was miserable to record. We're going to break it up into a couple teams at a time. So if you want to hear us talk more about other teams that we don't know as much about, we're still going to hate on anyway, go ahead, follow us, follow the show on your podcast app of choice. We'll see you next time.
Hail to Pitt.
Beat somebody.